Today we're at Seal Beach, California, and we're going to take you on a little walk down the Seal Beach Pier to get things started off. There's a little sign here, and it says Seal Beach Pier. Since its construction in the early 1900s, the Seal Beach Pier has served as a vital part of the community, drawing visitors from across California and around the world. On May 20th, 2016, a fire all but destroyed the end of the pier. The extensive reconstruction process spanned 3 years, and on May 24th, 2019, the newly renovated Seal Beach Pier reopened to the public. In commemoration of all the military veterans of the USA, of the past, present, and future who served in the 6 branches of the service since the Revolutionary War, this map designates our sovereign country. America. Stripes indicates the 13 original colonies. Stars represent each of the 50 United States, and the big circle denotes the world in which we serve. Let's remember and forever honor all military veterans, including our prisoners of war and the missing in action. Dedicated May 31st, 2004. Men and women deceased, Navy, Marines, Merchant Marines, POWs, MIAs, Coast Guard, Air Force, Army, and the living. American Legion Post 857. Veterans of Foreign Wars. Post 4048. Very patriotic people here in Seal Beach. So the Seal Beach Pier is a nice long wooden pier. Goes out across the beach and into the ocean. And it's primarily used by fishermen and tourists just wanting to walk out across the beach and over the water. The best times to catch fishermen here are early in the morning or late in the afternoon, although you will see some fishermen all day long, especially on the weekends. They do have a great festival here. It's like a pirate Renaissance fair type festival that occurs once a year in the summer, and the pier is lined with vendor booths selling all kinds of wares, pirate hats and costumes and all kinds of things like flags and clothes and food, and it's a lot of fun. Seal Beach is also well known for its car show. They have an annual car show that runs along the beach in the parking lots and up on the park, which is sort of a bluff above the sand, and down Main Street, which we'll go visit later. So you can see all kinds of classic cars from the beginning of the automotive industry up in through about maybe the 1980s. Mostly classic cars.
Look at that. It made a flip. That is so cool.
Today's kind of an overcast day, so it's a little bit on the light side in terms of tourists and beachgoers. But it is Monday, February 15th, which is President's Day. So there's a few people out and about. Let's have a look here. Stand up on this bench. So if we look off to the left, you see a few people braving the cold, especially kids out there on their boogie boards, and a few surfers over near the edge of the pier here, and then just people hanging out on the beach trying to enjoy a little bit of President's Day holiday. Off in the distance you see a cruise ship, a couple of cruise ships, and a lot of container ships and oil tankers. straight ahead you can see the city of Long Beach's downtown section, and to the left of that you see a hill, and that's Palos Verdes. Right at the water line where the water is breaking, and you get a little bit better view of the kids in the water and the surfer, 2 or 3 surfers out there all trying to enjoy a little bit of surf on a winter February afternoon. Almost made it, but not quite. Seeing a few fishermen here and there trying to catch their dinner. Now we're getting down to the end of the pier here. This is the part that caught fire a few years ago and has since been rebuilt. There used to be a restaurant down here at the end of the pier that was an actual building, a structure. I believe it was Ruby's Diner, a 1950s style diner. It's a chain, you know, a big commercial chain of diners that have that 1950s aesthetic with the waiters and waitresses dressed up in classic kind of server clothing from that era, serving mostly hamburgers and chicken sandwiches and fries, and famous for their chocolate shakes, stuff like that, hot fudge sundaes. They were here for a long time, and then I can't remember if the fire came first or if they closed down first, but this whole part of the pier here just burned up. You can see some of the redder looking wood along the edge here. That's because all this wood had to be replaced. And then of course the planks as well. So now we're well over the water. We've been over the ocean for quite a bit now. And let's see what this says. Protect your health. Do not eat contaminated fish. White croaker, barred sand bass, black croaker, and top smelt, as well as barracuda. Apparently those are contaminated with something. So to catch those, you gotta throw them back. Don't want to get sick. Now when we get over here to the very end of the pier, you can see out beyond the end of the pier here, there is just a huge lineup of container ships, all carrying goods from Asia, Southeast Asia, China, bringing all these things into your local Walmarts and Targets and just about every other store nowadays. And interspersed throughout here, you can see there's one oil drilling platform out there. There's a few of these out here in Orange County that kind of dot the coast. And I don't know. Up above the beach here, we have a nice little park on the bluff. See some kids, teenagers hanging out. Popular area to picnic. Parking at Seal Beach can be a real problem. These spaces along Ocean Boulevard are only good for an hour, and the Seal Beach Ticket Enforcement Squad is very active. You don't want to get one of those expensive parking tickets, so parking in the neighborhood is difficult. In the summer, it's basically impossible. So if you want to park when you visit, then it's best to take the beach parking lot here at 8th Street, which you just turn off of Ocean on 8th Street, and you just go down here, and you can see there's a pretty decent sized parking lot on both sides of the pier. Actually, there's a different entrance on each side of the pier, and you use an app for parking. You can download the app, and then it costs about $2 an hour or $8 for the whole day. If you don't have the app or you don't have a smartphone, they do have a kiosk. You can use your credit card. I don't think it takes cash, but there can be a big lineup for that. It doesn't always work that well or function the way you wished it would. So get your app and use the parking app. A lot of the state parks, city parking lots, state parking lots, all use this app now. So be aware. Now these houses on my left here all have beach frontage. So these houses are all up here on the bluff, but their front yards are actually the Pacific Ocean and the beach. So this is some very pricey property here, and you can see these little McMansions here have taken over, where once there were small little beach houses, now there's just big mansions. And you're probably talking $6, $7, $8 million for one of these houses. Maybe more, depending on the size of these houses. They're quite large. But very, very nice if you can afford it. Because you're up off of, oh my gosh, this is the cutest dog ever. What kind of dog is this?
Multi-poo.
Oh my gosh, I'm in love with the multi-poo.
You're so adorable.
That is the cutest ever. Where'd you get your multi-poo at?
Temple City, bought them off Craigslist.
Fantastic. It was just like an independent breeder, not like a shop? Yeah?
Right, independent breeder.
Oh my gosh.
So cute.
Multi-poo, I gotta have one.
Yeah, pretty cute.
Have a good day. Okay, I want a multi-poo.
I know.
That was the cutest dog ever. And probably stayed pretty small.
Yeah. It was very soft.
Oh my gosh, he was such a cute personality and
So cute.
so smaller than a cockapoo, you know? Kind of a better dog to be able to carry around with you.
The fur will stay soft.
Maltipoo, Temple City. I have to look up Maltipoo Temple City. Craigslist.
Breeder or just a little batch. I don't know.
Yeah, somebody who has some Maltipoos that are breeding them. The girls would love that cute little dog. See, that dog's small enough it could be a lap dog for you
Yeah, I'd love that.
because it wouldn't damage too much because it's so small. Its little claws are small.
I hear you said you didn't want any foofy dogs.
But that's not really a foofy dog. It looks pretty like normal.
Because you said Penny was like a foofy dog.
Well, to a degree she was for sure. She wasn't a dude's dog.
Well, that was that dude had it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain point, like when the dog is so cute, then everybody loves it. When Penny was really small, when she was a puppy, everybody loved her. But then later on, she just looked like a girly girl dog. I like this red Jeep. This is nice. JL for surf. So although, you know, everything in California is expensive in terms of real estate, and everything in a beach town like Seal Beach is going to be pricier than being in a suburb inland, this particular strip of real estate here along Ocean in Seal Beach is some of the pricier beach real estate you can get because of the fact that their front yards are literally the beach. And also because these houses are up on a bluff, so the you know, the high tides and the ocean storms aren't going to affect these houses. Somebody's got a little miniature palace here. Statuary and fancy banisters, railings, I guess. A fountain, and then next door you can see one of the old homes has been torn down and they are building a big huge house here at 400 Ocean. Oh yeah, there's a big hole there. Can't quite see because the camera is too low to see over that wall, but these are really large lots. People that own these houses have gigantic lots. Here's a classic old home. This is probably like an original one, built in the 1940s maybe, who knows. It's really cute. It has a lot of charm and style. I like this much better than the McMansions. They have a proper front yard with grass and a walkway, and then their backyard is the beach. So that's pretty cool. Kind of a beautiful Italian stately home here with dual 2-car garages, so 4-car garage. Beautiful plantings here and vines. It's a really elegant entrance. And across the street we see an original old Seal Beach bungalow house next to the big ugly yellow apartment building. Not too many of those small homes left, especially not along a big street like Ocean. Now here's a rare survivor, an original beach house on Ocean. You can see it's modest, one story. This is what it all used to be like a long time ago. Someday this house will probably be torn down and they'll build a little mansion as well, but for now the residents are able to enjoy their classic old beach home. Oh, this is quite elegant. I wonder who lives here. Some captain of industry, some very lucky person. I love the driveway to their separated two-car garage, or one-car garage on each, 2 cars. And it seems like every neighborhood, at least every old town and every old neighborhood, not your you know, big suburban tract homes, but it seems like every neighborhood has an old home like this, kind of an old survivor, just an old rickety house that's sitting on a really nice piece of land, but has not been taken care of very well, and it's just sort of slowly decaying. It's really interesting and unfortunate that a house like this has been left to decay. And you know, people probably still live here. They must live here. It's just too valuable not to. And it looks like they have a side yard, which is like a whole nother lot. The land this house sits on is worth millions of dollars, but it's probably like an older person who's lived here for most of their life, and they don't want to move or to leave, and they just want to live here in Seal Beach because it's a nice town and just enjoy this. I think I might have to take a picture of this cool setup here. Such a cool little area.
I can imagine it was all fixed up, it would be so grand.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, literally, that's like I'm sure people offer them money for that all the time, because you could literally buy that property, move into the house, sell the other half of that lot. I don't know if it's officially 2 lots now, but you could have it separated because it's so big. You could sell the other lot to a speculator, a builder, pay off your entire loan for the property, and then start working on fixing up your own house. So now we're at the far west end of Seal Beach, and we're crossing back across Ocean and to another beach parking lot. And this beach parking lot is much smaller than the others, but it's pretty popular because there are some good public restrooms here, and there's a restaurant called the River's Inn that is, you know, the building's owned by the city, but they lease it out to a restaurateur, and they have great breakfasts and lunches there, sandwiches. It's really popular in the community. And this particular parking lot is used a lot by kite sailors and windsurfers, but especially kite sailors, because they can park here and then they've got this nice little grass park where they can get all their gear out for their kite sails, get all their rigging together, and then walk out across the sand onto the to the beach where the water is, and then take off from there and kite sail. So this is a really popular kite sailing location. Yeah, you can see actually the city's put up a little sign here on the left that says windsurfing rigging area. So when they originally set this up, windsurfing was the really big sport that everybody was doing with a sailboard and a mast and a boom and a sail. But sometime after that, kite sailing became the next big thing, where you just have a little tiny board about the size of a snowboard, and you have a kite instead of a sail. You don't have a mast and you don't use a boom. You just hold on to some handles that are holding onto the kite, and you can just sail all over the ocean at high speed and jump and get catapulted out of the water. It's quite something to see. We'll have to come back down here when the weather is warmer and watch these guys film some of them. But they've done a nice job of making this little park accessible and attractive. But this parking lot does fill up pretty quick. So, something to be aware of. They have a lot of handicap parking here, which is good. The app that people use is called Passport Parking, and it's a lot easier than using the little kiosk. We have some good public restrooms here. It can be hard to find restrooms in a lot of cities and towns, and beach areas do better than most, but sometimes they don't have enough. But Seal Beach has done a really good job. Here we are. This is the actual restaurant. It's closed now, of course, because we're during the shutdown and the sickness that's worldwide. But normally this is just filled with diners, especially the breakfast and lunch crowd. Riverfront Cafe, I think is what they call it. Although maybe with different vendors they changed the name. The reason they call it Riverfront is because if we walk over here around the front on the sand, you'll see that there is the San Gabriel River that comes from all the way up in the San Gabriel Valley, all the way through all the cities, down to Seal Beach here, and then empties out into the Pacific Ocean. So that's why they call it Riverfront Cafe, or at least that's what they used to call it. You can correct me in the comments if you know of a name change or ownership change. So now as we walk over here, we're actually walking towards Long Beach, and Seal Beach and Long Beach are separated by this river, the San Gabriel River. So you can see across the way there where that little boy is in the water. If you keep looking straight behind him, that's the Los Alamitos Bay Yacht Club. And then there's some restaurants to the right of that. That's all Long Beach Harbor. And actually we're looking right at the Long Beach Peninsula, past that rock jetty. We walked over there the other day. But this is a popular place for people to hang out. They've got a nice little beach here so people can hang out and walk on the sand and the beach. And you can see the river dumps out right there into the ocean. So it's pretty cool. Fun little area. Let's see if I can walk across these rocks without falling. I don't know. Maybe I'm not that fleet of foot today. I better be more careful. Get a little bit of vertigo looking at these rocks as you walk across them. Can be a little bit unnerving. It's really beautiful. Here we are, February 15th, 2021, 59 degrees, and just beautiful in Southern California in Seal Beach. Downtown Seal Beach, or sometimes called Old Town Seal Beach, is a cute little area. This place is packed during the summer, but relatively quiet now, but does get tourism and locals, you know, throughout the week, every weekend. And today being a holiday, there's a few people out and about. As in other videos you've seen during this time of the worldwide sickness, we have outdoor dining only in California currently. So you see a lot of these temporary tents set up along the streets. This is nice. Nice art gallery and gifts. And you can see here really cool art prints that look really interesting. Some old photographs and some new photographs, some old cameras. This is actually really cool. I've got a little antique camera display set up with some old antique photographs. It looks like a gallery inside, a framing shop. Pretty nice.
I got from Columbia. I should have got the same one. Yeah.
A lot of shops have their wares out on the street. Try to draw people in.
No, I'm saying now. You're asking, like you said now.
Angelo's Deli, just like the one in Belmont Shore on 2nd Street. Excellent Italian food. Looks like it's closed for the holiday. The town cafe is pretty popular, but again, people can only eat outdoors now, so.
That would be like a little gift to get my mom.
I know.
Hello, puppy.
Like, same. I saw the doctor on Friday, and she was thrown up in the office. She wasn't doing well, and like, they might need to admit her. Like, she's in blood.
Yeah. Wait, she has a name for it. No, it's not.
Looks like Walt's Wharf, even though they said they were closing, looks like they're still open. You can still see stuff there, and they've got the big tent. Or unless this is part of Paradise. Maybe it's Paradise, the ice cream store. Avila's Ranchito Mexican restaurant.
The snow was melting.
They have some great antique stores and jewelry stores along Main Street as well. I think I prefer the antique stores to the jewelry stores. Of course, they have a lot of jewelry, but it's more old and classic. And just in this window, you see a few things, but you know, if you were to walk inside, if it was open, it's not. But if it's open, they have the really good stuff inside and really ornate and classic antique cabinets. And Bay Hardware we just passed, kind of like the Billings Hardware in Belmont Shore. Bay Hardware is a old school small hardware store that's really fun. A lot of empty buildings, a lot of empty retail spaces like this one, because so many businesses have not been able to make it through all the shutdowns in 2020 and now 2021, and all the restrictions on people being out and shopping and eating. This is Nick's. Nick's is one of the best restaurants in all of Seal Beach, and they are famous for their breakfast burritos. If you like chorizo and eggs and potatoes and beans and avocados, you got to come for Nick's breakfast burritos. They are the best. It's usually packed in there, but right now we're kind of a couple hours before dinner and a few hours after lunch, so it's pretty quiet in there right at the moment. I wonder if that... Oh yeah, we missed a spot over here. They have a nice little garden. We should go check out this garden. Walked right by it. There's actually a, not a garden really, it's a nursery here on Main Street. And there's a few shops along the back end of this nursery. So this is Britta's Old Town Gardens. And it's pretty cool. There's kind of a fun selection of many different kinds of plants here. You got some ornate looking pots, lots of different plants, herbs and vegetables. It's kind of nice to have something like this on a main street, a busy street where, you know, you have a lot of tourism and stuff, but you know, this serves well for the general public, the locals that live here. They don't have to go off to some big place like Armstrong Nursery. They can just come here. And wow, look at these beautiful succulents here. This is amazing. This is quite amazing. Some kind of a creation they've built here. They've made this, it's like one big mound of succulents they've kind of planted and arranged. Really cool. This is neat. Got some mint mojitos here. Lots of vases. Nice cacti. Little cacti. This is an interesting tree. The red trunk. You got a happy little puppy there.
Yep.
Back here we have the Main Street Mercantile Store, purveyors of fine goods. They have all kinds of, an eclectic mix of things here to decorate your home, your garden, front yard, your front door. Lots of cool signs. Surf Shack, Dogtown, Surf Shack, Peace. peas and apples, blackberries, vitamin C, spelled S-E-A. Cool little animals. There are little Christmas ornaments for trees. Cute little seating area here, kind of designed to give you ideas of what you can do with your own yard. The bird houses, and books, signs, hopeless romantic, cherish life's simple pleasures. Lots of cool stuff here. And then indoors they've got the really nice stuff as well. Shirts and different things. I don't see any more of those little birds, do you? I wonder if they'll get those back. Yeah, probably. Where'd you go? Where'd your ball go? Did you lose your ball? Here it is. Here's your ball. Here's your ball right there. Go get it. That was a cute dog. I don't know what kind that was, but that was really cute.
Good luck, Joe.
Now we're coming to the intersection of Main Street and Electric Avenue. Electric Avenue is named that because the old red car trolley system used to travel through here. And if we look down to the left, you can see one of the original trolley cars that is now parked down on a little strip of grass, kind of commemorating and celebrating that era. I think we'll walk over there and check it out. This dog looks like he's happy to see us. Hello, little puppers. How are you? Oh, it's a good puppy. He's a good doggy. So there's a little library there. There's a brick building beyond that little green tiny house, and that brick building is the Mary Wilson Library of Seal Beach. So right next to that we have this old Pacific Electric trolley car. We used to use these to transport people all over Southern California. Before the automobile was king, trolley cars were very important to the transportation of average citizens to and from work and to and from their destinations, whether it's for vacation or entertainment, going to the movies, whatever it was. I remember my folks told me growing up they went everywhere on the trolley cars. But I think these were put to rest in the 1950s as the trolley car systems were bought up, from what I understand, by maybe partnerships or conglomerates of oil companies and car companies, and then they ended the trolley car system so people would buy cars. At least that's what I heard. If I'm wrong or you have more information on that, please say so in the comments below. There's a plaque here that says Pacific Electric Red Car. The Pacific Electric Southern District was completed in 1902. In 1903, Philip A. Stanton organized the Bay City Land Company, which developed the town site of Bay City. Red Car service began in 1904, transporting tourists and early residents. The town was incorporated in 1915, and Bay City was renamed Seal Beach. So it wasn't always called Seal Beach. It was called Bay city originally. Let's go over here and see what this little green house is. Looks like a tiny house. This says, dedicated to the Seal Beach community, thank you to our generous donors. And it lists a lot of donors here. So I'm not really quite sure what this little house represents. It doesn't say.
Maybe Santa comes here.
Yeah, maybe this is Santa's house around December. Maybe it represents some kind of a old railroad building that might have been here once a long time ago. It's a cute little thing. I know an 18-year-old that would love to have a little tiny house like this in the backyard. It's awful cute. Okay, let's get back to Main Street. So Main Street is crossed by three major streets: Pacific Coast Highway, Electric Avenue, and then Ocean Boulevard. So we've walked across Main Street, crossing Ocean Boulevard and Electric Avenue. Now we'll get back to Main Street and head down towards Pacific Coast Highway. Of course, Pacific Coast Highway is a famous major road going through California, all along the coast, going through multiple cities, from way up north near San Francisco, and even further north than that, really all the way to the Oregon border, and then all the way down to the Mexican border, going through, you know, San Francisco and Monterey and Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, all the beach communities, and it just keeps going. So it's a major road. It's called Highway 1 in California, Pacific Coast Highway. It might even go up through Oregon and Washington. I can't remember off the top of my head if it does, but if you know if it does or not, you can say so in the comments. Let everybody else know. This section of Main Street's a little newer. Some of the newer buildings and storefronts here, with restaurants and hair salons, insurance companies. So a lot of this sort of northern section, north end of Main Street, has had a lot of renovation. A lot of the old buildings were torn down and then new buildings put up. But we got a few old things here, like this old building, Main Street Sucklery. That's cool. That's been around a long time. And then next door, the Main Street Barbershop, classic old barbershop. Probably the most famous business on the street here we're walking up to now, and that's Harbor Surfboards. Harbor Surfboards is a famous surf shop. It's the preeminent shop for Seal Beach for sure, but you know, even in neighboring cities, people know of Harbor Surfboards and like to come here and shop and buy their surfboards and wetsuits and t-shirts and all kinds of surf attire. Look at all those surfboards hanging out. Wow, that's a lot of surfboards. Hi there. This is their famous, simple but very famous logo. Surfboards by Harbor Seal Beach. We look across the street, is a famous old movie theater that is currently, it's been closed for a number of years. Gosh, I want to say 10 or 12 years, and now it's been purchased by some kind of a preservation organization, and the Baytown Theater is now in a renovation process. So they're progressing, trying to renovate the old Bay Theater and make it usable as a movie theater again, and bring it back, because it's very quaint, it's very cool. You know, every town in the USA used to have a movie theater, at least one, and then all the big cineplexes, the multiplexes were built, and it crushed a lot of these independent movie theaters like the Bay Theater, but thankfully there's some very proactive, concerned citizens that have gotten together and formed an organization to save it and bring it back, and I think it'll be a real benefit to the community. You know, any movie theater that's, you know, an original old movie theater has a lot of value beyond its land. It has the, you know, the value of community and the value of bringing people together. So now we're at PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, and Main. Now we're going to cross over and work our way back up the south side of Main Street. Here's one of these co-working spaces, creative workspace. I think you pay a membership or you pay an hourly rate, and then you can work here, kind of an office that you can rent office space in. So when you need an office, you can rent space there and meet clients and stuff. Looks like they've poured all new concrete leading into the theater. This is going to be really exciting when it's reopened. Hopefully it'll be maybe this summer. It'd be great to see some movies there, especially like old classic movies. And now if I turn around, you get a good view of the Harbor Surfboards shop that we just looked at. But here's the, you know, the front of the store here. Gives you an idea of what it looks like. And you can see this side of the street, especially down in this more eastern part of the street, has a lot of newer buildings. They tore down the original buildings and they put up these much newer, contemporary looking buildings. And this is the Abbey, which is a restaurant and bar, or some might call it a pub. And the Abbey is a really famous restaurant. Lots of sports folks, lots of sports fans like to come here. And if you need to get your Apple computer or your Mac, your Apple device fixed, Mac Fusion is one of the best places you can go. It's much easier and faster to come here than to go to the Genius Bar or to go to the Apple Store. And Mac Fusion will do a great job for you. They've worked on a few of my computers over the years, and I've always been super satisfied with their work. So I recommend them. Now we are walking up Main Street again, and we're about to cross Electric Avenue again. And I think we'll walk over here to the left and look at this very large old home. Probably the largest original home in the area that's older than something built maybe in the 1970s. There's not too many grand old homes left in Seal Beach. They had a lot of smaller homes on small lots, and those were mostly torn down, and then two-story houses built up on them. I don't know if there was any houses larger than this, but this house is quite large. and beautiful. One of the few houses that has a separate garage and a yard with grass. Really big, old, classic wooden home. Really a great looking house. I'm going to turn around here so you can see this. And you can see this house was, or is, quite large. I'm going to walk over here. There's this median, which is like a park right in the middle of Electric Avenue. Of course, this is where the Pacific Electric cars used to go down this right-of-way, and now it's a park. But you can see this is a really great house here. It's so big. You could have your kids and your grandparents from both sides of the family living with you. So yeah, if you look at this park here, this is actually the right-of-way from the old Pacific Electric car. It used to go down here all the way down to Seal Beach. I mean, all the way from Seal Beach to Huntington Beach, and then, you know, up connecting into Los Angeles. If we walk over here now, you can see another small older home that's more typical of the size of the homes that you see in Seal Beach. The older homes, the original homes, are more typically the size of this one, more in the 1,000 square foot range of home size or smaller. So you can see this house here is much smaller than the one next door, but also an older vintage, which is kind of fun. So I guess we'll head back to Main Street now, work our way back up. There's a nice space for rent here that's kind of off of Main Street. And it's got that nice big window. It's a small space. It'd be great for like a small shop or a workshop or something. Because they probably charge a lot less at not being fronting on Main Street, see? It's just a little thing. Well, it looks like it might go to Main Street that way. Maybe it wraps around, maybe not. Might have a Main Street front as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, it does. Okay. So it's an L shaped. Pretty quiet out here today. On the weekend, you'll have just lots of people walking in every direction. It is a holiday, but some people have to work today. A lot of kids do have school today. So it's a little quieter out here. Here's another view of the Bay Hardware. This classic old hardware store across the street. Not a lot of towns in California, not a lot of cities in California have small hardware stores like this anymore. They have, you know, your large hardware stores like your Home Depots and those kind of places. Oh, looks like Beach Fitness has found a way to stay open and have their workouts. They're just doing them on the street instead of going indoors where they're not allowed to go. Take a look at this. So one of the problems with the worldwide sickness is, at least here in California, the gyms, the fitness centers have had to close just like the restaurants and so many other businesses. So people can't work out and the gyms are struggling, but looks like Beach Fitness found a way to be able to service some of their customers by holding their workouts outdoors. These ladies and gentlemen were just lifting free weights a moment ago, and that's a good way to do it. They've got AstroTurf, and they've got their weights outside, so that could work. Yeah, that way you get a little bit of your workout going. Better than no workout at all. Some big guys. These guys are huge.
Yeah.
If you want some inexpensive pizza that's really good, you can't go wrong here with a Slice of New York Pizzeria. This is a small pizza joint that has really good pizza and really inexpensive.
What do you mean, doesn't play exploding kittens?
And then O'Malley's Pub over here is super popular. Just passing that. Kind of quiet here today, huh?
Yeah.
But like that's where
All kinds of shirts. Here we got probably like Rain Spooner, or let's see who this is. This is a Melikimaka by Rain Spooner. Yep, that's an expensive brand. This shirt is on sale, normally $108, $68 for a Christmas style Hawaiian shirt. Kind of pricey, but if you like your Hawaiian shirts, they got everything here. Every kind of style. Lots and lots of them here. Good quality ones.
After the Disney show.
Thanks, Chef.
Here's the Hangout. The Hangout's a popular restaurant bar here in Seal Beach, right at the intersection of Main Street and Ocean. Now we'll turn the corner and walk along Ocean for a minute. A really great coffee shop here next to the hangout is called Bogart's Coffee Shop. Somewhat small, but they do a really good job of bringing live entertainment here a couple nights a week. So if you like folk music, folk singers, and there goes somebody going to get a coffee right now.
That is the hope we all have.
Pierside Press, a classic sandwich shop. Everybody loves their sandwiches when you're surfing all day or you're boogie boarding. You like to come over here and get a gobbler or a muffalita or a longshoreman, which an Ironman, a Pierside. Lots of good sandwiches. And then next to that is the El Burrito Junior, number 2. So you can get your Mexican food going. They have some pretty decent Mexican food here. It's a classic place. Of course, people are mostly just eating outdoors here. This is actually kind of tastefully done. Like I was saying, most of the original houses in Seal Beach have been torn down and they've built McMansions on them, right? But this one's actually tastefully done. It has kind of a Spanish flavor to it with Spanish tiles around the door, really cool looking door, and then Spanish tile stairs going up to a roof deck. It's simple, but you know, pretty nicely done. Battery's getting low. Gotcha. So like a lot of beaches and a lot of beach communities, Seal Beach has a little bit of a boardwalk here as well, although it's not a wooden boardwalk like you see, for example, in the Long Beach Peninsula has a wooden boardwalk. This is more like, sort of like the Esplanade that you see down along maybe Manhattan, Hermosa Beach. It's a concrete walkway. So these houses are all fronting the beach. But if you look to the right over here, you cannot see the beach because there is a very large berm of sand that's been built up. They build this up every winter because during high tide and some storms, the ocean will come all the way out here and it will easily go over this little tiny wall here and it will flood this entire sidewalk so that the ocean will come right up to these people's houses here and into their houses, flooding a lot of these houses. So they put up this big berm to hold back the water, and it does a pretty good job, but sometimes big ocean storms come in or big rainstorms come and they bring heavy seas, and this area gets really flooded with water. So this is a annual problem for Seal Beach, because it's you know, it's down here at sea level, and the seas have been getting a little higher every year for the last several decades, and now are threatening a lot of homes up and down the west coast and the east coast, for that matter, all over the world. But this is where we're seeing it happen. Let's walk out here, walk out onto the berm, and go look at some of these people flying kites. Then we can look back at the homes. So you can see this is a pretty substantial berm, a pretty substantial wall of sand that the city creates every winter. And then usually in the summer they knock it down, flatten it out again. But you can see when you get up to the top here, it's pretty thick. It's easily from one end to the other, got to be about 30 feet. And the top part that's flat, where trucks can drive along and cars, is probably 10 or 12 feet wide. Here you get a good view of the Seal Beach Pier. A little kid and his mom and maybe aunt or grandma flying a kite here. That's kind of fun. And you get to see all of these ships out here as well. Off in the distance, beyond the pier, you see the city of Long Beach's downtown area and all the high-rise buildings along Ocean Boulevard looking out to the ocean. Lots of container ships out there and oil tankers too. And then when we turn around, you can kind of see all the homes here along the boardwalk in Seal Beach. You can see a lot of them are multi-family dwellings where they have one family living downstairs, one family living upstairs, but some of them are still single-family homes. And then, you know, you see a big apartment building down there in the middle. There's a few apartment buildings for sure. But yeah, this Seal Beach here, you can see here comes a lifeguard in his little white pickup truck, and he's patrolling the area, making sure everybody's safe, making sure nobody's getting stuck in the water on this cold winter afternoon. Although it's not really all that cold, but if you're in the water, it's pretty darn cold. Pacific Ocean's a lot colder than the Atlantic Ocean, and probably 20 or 30 degrees cooler than the Caribbean. So it can be pretty chilly if you're in that water and you get caught up in a riptide or something and you start getting carried out to sea. It could be pretty dangerous. So the lifeguards are real heroes. They really do a great job trying to protect the public. And here we have a native little hot California beach bunny, all bundled up for winter, drinking her Bogart's tea. Seal Beach is one of the smallest seaside towns that actually has a beach in California, I believe. Hermosa Beach is another beach town that's very small, like Seal Beach, so you could literally walk this entire town in a few hours. Let's take a look at this little mural here. Cute little mural, looks like some kids painted. A couple of dogs on the beach. A couple of people, some surfers. Kind of fun. I guess we'll head back that way. This looks like new construction here, built in the last few years. It's only like 4:30. We've only been walking like an hour and 15 minutes.
Please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notifications button. Thank you very much.